Okay, a key question on the Vietnam War. Explain the reasons why the USA became involved in Vietnam. And this is worth 6 marks. So there's 4 main reasons. The government of South Vietnam was weak and needed American support. The USA was following a policy of containment. The USA believed in the domino theory and the military-industrial complex. So how do we apply all these to the 6 mark scheme? Simple. 4 marks, you explain 1 point. 5 marks, you explain 1 point in detail. 6 marks, you explain 2 points in detail. So how can we apply this to the question? Same as usual, we're just giving the examiner key words from the question, followed by because. The USA became involved in Vietnam because, and we give our explanation point straight away. US governments were afraid that communism would spread from Vietnam across all of Asia. That's our first point. Now we need to add in the detail, and here is the detail. This was known as the domino theory. What does the domino theory tell us? This said that if one country became communist, it would spread to the next country and then to the next. So America is worried if South Vietnam became communist, then it would spread to nearby countries, and before long the whole of Southeast Asia would be communist. So breaking down that point, we've got our opening sentence where we are giving the examiner back the keywords from the question. The USA became involved in Vietnam because. We're then giving the key reason. The Americans were afraid that communism would spread from Vietnam across all of Asia. And then we're following that up with the detail. Why are they afraid that communism is going to spread across all of Asia? Because of the domino theory. What does the domino theory tell the Americans? If one country becomes communist, then the others will follow. Next, moving straight along. Another reason why the USA got involved was the Cold War. So we're picking out the Cold War as the key reason they got involved. Why was this motivating them? Well, the Cold War was a struggle between East and West, which was often fought out between countries other than the USSR and the USA, and this is what was happening in Vietnam. Now, to be quite honest, I don't like that as a point. I mean, look at this one up here. We've got US governments were afraid that communism would spread from Vietnam across all of Asia. That's a good, strong, solid point that is linked into the Vietnam War. And then look at all this detail. We've got the domino theory. We've got the explanation of what the domino theory is, that if one country becomes communist, everything will then follow. And this is worrying the Americans because if South Vietnam becomes communist, it's going to spread to the entire area of Southeast Asia. And remember, China, the most populated country in the world, became communist in 1949. So I'm going to move away from the mark scheme on this one. This is what the exam board gave us. This is the model answer, but I think we can improve on it, and this is how we can improve on it. During the Cold War, US policy was based on the idea of containment. There is another point. Now in the exam, I would pick for the top one and the bottom one. What detail can we give? The USA therefore supported the French in Vietnam in the 1950s in order to stop the spread of communism and gain support from its allies. There we go, and I think that is a stronger point. So breaking it down, the USA got involved in Vietnam because of the Cold War. The Cold War was a struggle between East and West, which was often fought between countries other than the USSR and the USA. They couldn't fight each other. If the superpowers had fought each other, it probably would have led to nuclear holocaust, remember. Next one, the USA became involved because US governments were afraid of the spread of communism across all of Asia. What's our detail for this? The domino theory. We're then explaining the domino theory. If one country became communist, it would spread to the next country and then to the next. They were worried if South Vietnam became communist, it would spread to nearby countries, and before long, the whole of Southeast Asia would be communist. So that is an extended 6 mark answer. You would only need 2 of these. I would go for the top and I would go for the bottom, unless you know something different, but I think the top one is the way forward.